Travis Wayne Goodsell, and it's first thing in the morning, and I just want everybody to know that yesterday was not some weird behavioral thing of mine. I am serious about the arrest warrant. You know, we can't put up with this in our nation, so I am very serious. We need as many people as possible to stand up to our government. They're committing conspiratorial treason. They're all working together to take away our rights to life, liberty, property. It's that simple. Those are crimes. Those aren't civil cases. Those are crimes because the Constitution is not a civil matter. It is the supreme law of the land. When you break the law, you commit a crime. So it really pisses me off when people tell me, oh, well, that's a civil case. No, it's not. It's a criminal case. And the prosecutors have to petition for the redress of grievances on behalf of the victim. And they're not. All right, so it being January the 2nd, everybody's going back to work. And I have a Peanuts calendar on my desk here, and so see, Peanuts, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because on the back I noticed that they have the Daily Extra, a fun fact, and on this first one they go and talk about Mesopotamia as being the oldest source for New Year's celebrations. No. First of all, the Mesopotamians celebrated earlier than 2000, but the Egyptians also celebrated New Year's, and before the Mesopotamians. Now, of course, Mesopotamians and Egyptologists battle back and forth as to whose was the oldest culture, and people on the outside look at it and go, well, how do we know who's right? So, again, if you just rely on what other people tell you, borrowed light, Mormons, you can get fooled. You can be deceived. Remember, deceived, if possible, the very elect. You're supposed to be the elect in your minds. Well, this is how you're getting deceived. Read, ponder, pray, revelation. That's deception, because that's the regurgitation method. And if that's all you're using to verify what truth is, you will be deceived. Plain and simple. No questions about it. So, yeah, you've got to do the research, just like you do for school. You can't just regurgitate. You know, school may tell you, well, we want you to regurgitate other people's works, but don't put it in their words, put it in your own. Still regurgitation. You got to do the research. You got to fact check these people who claim to be authorities on history, on all sorts of fields in school. So, all right. So, yeah, today we, tomorrow Congress will get back to work, and they'll continue to hedge and hem and haw, and they'll claim to flex their muscles, but they won't do anything. You know, they'll all try to do investigations, but they can't subpoena anybody because they have to pick and choose who they're going to subpoena, because they've got to take it to the courts to force them to appear for the subpoena for the investigation. And Nancy Pelosi has already proven that she can get things done when it's in her political interests. But she's also proven during this Trump administration to not have a backbone to stand up against Trump. Oh, but she was in the Oval Office on TV standing up to him. No, Schumer did better when he slammed him with own the shutdown. You know, Pelosi, she did nothing really to stand up to Trump. So even though she can say things, that's not standing up to Trump. Trump still put her in her place. It was Schumer who put Trump in his place by forcing him to own the shutdown. So pay attention to that, people. Don't listen to whatever the news media wants you to believe, whether it's Fox or whether it's MSNBC, CNN, or whatever. You know, they're not supposed to put in their bias. That's not news. News is actually watching Trump and in the discussion in the White House with Schumer and Pelosi. That's news. Anything else that news reporters say about it, it's not news. The news is what Trump says. That's the news. And so, yeah, MSNBC is really pissing me off because they're like desperate. And so they make breaking news. We speculate that the House will do this when they come back to work. No, that's not breaking news. So yeah, it frustrates me. So Mormons, and again, pay attention. This is the time period when something big is going to happen. From now until the end of February, something's going to happen to the church. You know, Hinckley died under a total eclipse of the moon, and Monson also died under a total eclipse of the moon. You're saying, no, it was on 31st, Travis, not the 2nd. That's the time period, month before, month after, and only specialties have exceptions. For example, the 2014-2015 tetrad, the lunar eclipses, and then there was a total solar eclipse in the middle in March. After the one on conference morning, boom, Packer, Perry, and Scott. Although I think it went Perry, Packer, Scott. But yeah, we lost Packer. He was in line to be the president of the church, and God took him. God said, no, you will not be the next president of the church. That's in your thinking, guys. That's what God was saying. Packer will not be it. And he allowed Nelson an opportunity, but as you noticed, and I don't think you did, only the president of the church is allowed to make decisions for the church. Only the president. So what did the church do when Monson was sick in bed, about to die, you know, from May of 2017 all the way to his death in January 2018? You know, the church tried to tell us, oh, Monson's approved. We don't go anything without his approval. Yeah, he's got Alzheimer's. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So if you're actually getting his approval, it's not a legitimate approval. So, yeah, there was a lot of stuff done, and especially in December, right before Monson died in January. All of a sudden, all these new changes came out. That was supposed to be done by Monson. Monson's nearing death. He could not be giving permission. So, yeah, Nelson and the boys were usurping his authority. So, yeah, pay attention to this, people. You know, this is serious stuff. Mormons, there is a process. There is protocol. You cannot violate protocol. Remember, this is God's church. Jesus leads and guides and reveals things to his church. Could they not have waited until he died? Because that's how Jesus wants it, isn't it? So, yeah, pay attention. You know, they were usurping Monson's authority before he died. And then, so when he died, they tried pulling a stunt of, oh, we're having this press conference. What is it about? Well, because at that time, I didn't know about the 1940 sole corporation filing that the church had done. If I had known about that previous to Monson's death, then yeah, I would have said, yeah, it's always the precedent of the 12 apostles. It isn't who Jesus chooses. So, yeah, so pay attention, guys. Something big's going to happen. And the 70 will be receiving, the presidency of the 70 will be receiving my letter today. And it's not a threatening letter. It's just a letter saying, hey guys, this is my education, this is my experience, and this is my knowledge, and these things have happened in the past that relate to the church, and this is what's coming up. So I just wanted you guys to be informed, and hopefully the mailroom won't recognize the letter saying, oh, it's Travis, Arr! Put it in his troublemaker file, 36434, I believe, if I'm memorizing that correctly, regurgitating that correctly. Yeah, so we'll see if the presidency of the 70 get it, so that, you know, they can be aware, because I'm expecting this to be big, and that would be really cool. Because again, if you do dealings with Russia, Russia will challenge you. Look at what they're doing to Trump. You know, they're testing the hypersonic missile, nuclear missile now, and they kidnapped an American. You know, this is all under Trump. You know, Trump gave them Syria, he gave them Afghanistan, he gave them Ukraine. So why is Russia still going after us? They're still attacking us on the internet. What's going on? That's what they do. You know, they bribe you with money laundering, so that you get dirty through the money laundering process, and then they ask you to do things for them, and if you comply, you are asked to do more things and more things. They never let you go, even though they hold off the hope that maybe one day they will let you go, or that they will say, hey, yeah, Trump Tower, you can put it here in Moscow now. You've done enough loyalty for us. They ain't gonna do it. And so, yeah, the church, temple, they know very well the church wants a temple in Russia. So, yeah, they're asking the church to do things for them now. And that's the money laundering that's going on, that was announced earlier this year on Max Roth's, on Fox 13 News Utah. You know, $31 billion gets funneled through these LLCs, and we don't know where the money comes from. And then they're being invested in the stock market to make more money. This is what Russia wanted them to do, plain and simple. It's pattern Russia, the Russian mafia. I did the video on it, guys. And so, yeah, the church is compromised. They are under control of Russia, just as Trump is under control of Russia. So what that means is John the Revelator is talking about a dragon controlling the beast and the false prophet. The dragon is Russia. That's just the way it is, because all the signs have occurred during this time period. So we've got to say, okay, well, what's going on? Who's doing what then? If all the signs have happened during this time period, then these three characters should be manifest. They should be out there, according to the signs. Even Joseph Smith said, there will be signs in the heavens in the likeness of things on earth, events on earth. And so, what are those three characters? Who are they? So the dragon is controlling the beast and the false prophet. And we know because of the signs occurring over the United States. Remember the total solar eclipse? That means that it's in the United States. This is the nation of the fulfilled prophecy, not Jerusalem. And so the beast and the false prophet have to be in the United States. And so the beast, I've already demonstrated Trump. MAGA on the forehead. Having an ID to buy groceries. His image. Speaking blasphemies. And then 666 is image of shofar. Trump in Hebrew. And so, who's the false prophet? It's not the Pope. Sorry, guys. He's not even considered a prophet. He's the vicar of Christ, as his followers call him. And I guess his Pope hat has it on there, vicar of Christ. But he's not considered an apostle, let alone a prophet. He's a bishop. That's what Pope means. Pope means bishop. And how did they come to that? Because all the apostles died. They were murdered. The church had no leadership. And I've talked about James, the brother of Jesus, who actually took over for Jesus. But the apostles, they all died. And so all he had were bishops of the various churches scattered about. And all these churches went their separate ways. Different gospel, different creed, and they had their own way of doing things. And so, as a result of Constantine, you know, now the supreme ruler of the church, you know, he had no authority, and he usurped it, just like the ancient prophecies. And the church had to say, okay, well, we have to have a line connecting Jesus to Constantine, so we'll make it through Peter, and then after Peter died, nobody replaced him, so we'll make a bishop, yeah. And Constantine is from Rome, because he's Roman, he's a Roman emperor, so therefore, Linus, he was the bishop at Rome at the time when Peter died. So therefore, we're going to assign Linus to be the successive pope. That's how they did it. It's in their church history. They don't even hide it. And so, yeah, the church, the Holy Roman Empire has no authority. It's that simple. So yes, the Mormon church was right, guys. There was an apostasy, but they're wrong thinking that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints through Brigham Young is God's true church. They're wrong about that too. So, yeah, because after Joseph Smith died, so went the church. Fell into apostasy. So God is keeping his promise that he is going to hold those responsible for murdering Joseph Smith. And it was Brigham Young who orchestrated it. He went to the Warsaw Lodge to plead the case that he would become the leader of the church and would take care of the Joseph Smith problem. And yeah, that's how he did it. So, okay, I don't want to go too long on this, so be aware of what's going on around you, because things are about to hit the fan, so I hope you're prepared.